My name is Derek Walls. I'm here with the WWE podcast without my partner. And of course, Denim helps me out, gives me an interview with two people I never would have imagined we'd have on the podcast. That is, of course, Ricky and Kerry Morton. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I won't keep you guys too long. I know you guys are busy people. We got a match tonight. You just got done with the seminar. You guys are very busy. But I do want to ask you, what got you into professional wrestling?
Well, that's a really good question, actually. My father here is a second-generation professional wrestler. I am a third-generation professional wrestler, so I think it was kind of natural instinct. As being the youngest out of 8 children, no one else took up the profession, so I thought it was my 2 cents. I traveled up and down the road with my dad ever since I can remember. In the back seat, playing with my Hot Wheels, my G.I. Joe, and wrestling figures, and watching Ring of Honor on the ROH DVRs. And I fell in love with wrestling at an early age, and I never wanted to give it up. And so now I get the opportunity to travel the world. I currently wrestle for the National Wrestling Alliance, and that's what brings me now to the Battle on the Border here in Morrow, Ohio. You would have told me maybe a month and a half ago, hey man, you're going to go to Morrow, Ohio on February 22nd. I would have been like, I have no idea where Morrow, Ohio is. But now that I'm here, what a beautiful town. I'm excited to be here, and I'm just happy to be in the
first of all, he said that he was the youngest of 8 kids. So that means I've only been home 8 times in the last 50 years. Yeah, I was a second-generation wrestler. My dad wrestled, then he refereed in Memphis. If you guys go back and watch some of those Memphis tapes, the bald-headed referee with all the tattoos, he had tattoos before they were cool.
That's right.
He was a drill instructor, Marine Corps. But understand, and being for him, people think, well, your daddy was this, and that's the reason it's double, 2 times harder being a son of a professional wrestler working into the business, because you got to meet a certain standard, and it's so hard. You have to go through a lot of stuff, and but understand where I'm coming from with him following in my footsteps and being on the road together, because it's the precious times that I spent with my dad on the road, learning the business, him drilling into my head and what the business is going to be like, what it's going to, and everything that he told me was right, and he did that. So I get to spend that opportunity with Kerry, and I hope he cherishes those memories like I did with my dad.
Absolutely, yes sir.
So let's ask this, because we did this seminar. Do you guys remember what it was like breaking into the business for you, and if you could share that experience? I'm sure people would love to hear, because you're a legend, you're a future legend. I mean, what is it like for you guys breaking into the business?
Well, I'm going to start this off first, because I told these people earlier, and all you guys out there that are breaking into the business. See, before my dad became the big referee in Memphis, Tennessee, he worked for Nick Goulas. We had to travel. My daddy pulled the wrestling ring. Me and my brothers, most of the time just me and my dad, we pull the ring and we put it up. We see, we get the ring up, and I get into the ring, and my dad will work with me, and sometimes my brothers would get in there with me, and sometimes breaking into the business, I'd ride in the back seat, and my dad always had a big star wrestler in the front seat. Sometimes it'd be Jackie Fargo, sometimes it'd be Lynn Rossi. But you have to understand and go back and do the history of my business for these people that you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people need to do the history of our business to understand who people are. But I'm in the back seat, buddy. I'm taking all this in. I want to ask a question. But breaking into the business with my dad, it's a great opportunity for me to learn. And that's the reason I went on to have the future that I had in professional wrestling. Is because of my dad, but not what I did, what I accomplished in it. It was a damn long, hard road, buddy. But learning from him, oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. He had a PhD in professional wrestling.
Let me chime in just and say, I traveled up and down the road, with my dad in the backseat of the likes of Jason Kincaid and Matt Signum and Chase Owens. I was in the ring with those guys every weekend on the Independence in the southern states, and I just had an opportunity just to wrestle with those guys before the show would start.
Yeah, he wasn't 8 or 9 years old. He's in the ring with these guys.
Brad Thomas, all these guys I'm in the ring with, and I'm learning from them, and then
I'll be eating.
I'm staying there the whole show because that's my ride home. So I got a Happy Meals McDonald's Happy Meal, and I'm at the gimmick table, the merch table, and I'm watching wrestling, and I'm watching these guys, and I pick up from them, and then we're in the car ride, just the same. And then, you know, I'm in the back seat watching the early CM Punk and admiring him from Ring of Honor days and TNA and AJ Styles. And now I get to see all these guys come to life, and I'm sharing the locker room with them, and putting my wrestling gear on alongside my dad. So that was really, you know, really cool. And then, you know, I had to earn my stripes. At first, you know, I tried my hand at refereeing for a long time. I refereed NWA sanctioned NWA World Heavyweight matches. Jack Stane, you know, rest in peace. Rob Conway, you know, Chase Owens, all these guys was refereeing their NWA championship reigns, and I learned from those guys, and I picked up from those pieces. And now, you know, I did the commentary. I set up the ring. I set up more rings, and I probably forgot how many rings I've set up at this point. So, you know, that was just part of paying
Hey,
in.
when we pulled up today, the ring hadn't, because they're playing basketball, and the ring hadn't been pulled up. And Kerry goes, "Don't tell me we're going to put the ring up." I said, "We might have to."
I'd have to. I was like, oh, maybe
We had an all right crew. They need some work, I'm sure, but
they were great. That ring was up in no time. So.
Oh yeah, them guys put that ring up real quick. That's,
So you mentioned traveling on the road. We've asked wrestlers this in the past. This is always a tricky question to ask, but do you guys have any road stories that really stand out? Of course, keep it legal. Names don't have to be mentioned, but road stories that stand out to you as your favorite.
well, buddy, not really. You know, and I'm just going to tell you this right here. My wife tells me, you know, I have a little bit of CTE. You know, because you know you got to understand I've been hit in the head with a chair a million times. But my wife calls it CRS, you know, can't remember shit. But you know, I have 1,000 road stories, but I'll let Kerry tell one of his, because mine are to protect the innocent. And I'm not gonna say nothing. You know, but you gotta understand this here, actually, and I'm telling you, I don't give a damn. David Lee Roth, Van Halen, me and Robert were true rock stars.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? I mean, being professional wrestlers, we were true rock stars, being met at the back of the building. I tell you, this is when Jimmy Crockett finally hired security. Robert just got a new Trans Am, and we pulled up at the Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Coliseum.
That's right.
And when we pulled up in the car, it had to be 3,000 people rushed the car. They're rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
And Robert screaming, "Get off my car!" And it took the police a good hour to get us out.
Wow.
And then when they got the people back off, I looked, and Robert's car was just tore all to hell.
Oh, no.
I mean, it looked like it'd been sandblasted.
It was not.
And but that's the easy one. The rest of them, you got to buy my book, and I ain't never writing it. So.
Man, you know, I often think, you know, people forget. You know, you see the fans see people, us wrestlers at the show.
Yep.
And they often don't forget, you know, they forget what it takes to get us to that particular show. You know, travel, being picked up, you know, half the time, I'm not going to mention any names, promoters will fly you in, which I'm fortunate for, not know who's going to pick me up,
Right.
who may take me to the hotel, where I'm even staying,
Right.
where's the show at, don't even know the address, I know the flyer itself. So that, you know, that's always a fun struggle. You know, I've been in nights where I was probably awake a good 36 hours, you know, give or take, just traveling, maybe catching a little sleep on the flights, you know, having crazy turbulence experiences that I feel like no one should ever have to deal with, but, you know, it's just all part of the road.
Right.
And I don't think I would take anything back, though. I think it's the part of the game, it's a part
I
of
tell him that all the time.
It's part of it.
No, when he gets, he'd be moody.
I get moving.
He's moody. I
Yeah.
say, chill out. It's our job.
Right.
You gotta deal with it.
Yeah,
Deal
suck
with
it up. That's what he said. Suck
Deal
it
with
up.
it. It's all
Deal
I'm
with
saying. Deal with it. It is hard. Our wrestling business is the hardest business in the world, but it's the most exciting.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's a life in this professional wrestling business, especially in the era that I came through where the business changed. I mean, it went from, you know, just from these big 800-pound wrestlers, big, you know, to the young kids, and right when the TV hit, and then Robert and I came out on TBS, Ted Turner station. Oh, buddy, we was instantly, I'm telling you, rock stars.
Wow.
Couldn't go nowhere, couldn't go to the malls. I bought a house in Charlotte, and I woke up and there's 500 people in my front yard.
Wow.
You hear me? I'm serious. Yeah. You couldn't even believe, but this wrestling business, I wouldn't take nothing for the life.
It's very rewarding, you know, when we do all this travel, we do this home care bodies, and we're beat up and cut up and bruised and injured, but when you go outside that curtain and you see a smile on someone's face and you see the laughter and them enjoying themselves, that makes you think, okay, this is why I do this. This is why, you know, sometimes I complain or struggle getting to a show or whatnot, but once you're there and you see that live and in action and in living color, it makes you just kind of take a deep breath and say, all right, this is my purpose. This is what I was supposed to do as an entertainer, and I wouldn't take it back for anything.
That's awesome to hear. Before I forget, I want to make sure, well, on the podcast, we'll have a picture up right now. My mom found out today that I was going to be here with you, and she sent me a picture of her with Robert Gibson, and she wanted me to show you. So I'll be sure to show you.
Okay, make sure you show me. You know what? And if you're out there listening to this podcast and you do come to wrestling shows, I love when people bring old stuff for me to look at. You know, especially Robert and I were the first ones to start doing Polaroids at the shows. Yeah. And people bring them that's dated back 1991, 92. I love seeing that. I'm sorry. A little chest cover.
Yeah.
Going around. Okay. All right. I don't want to keep you guys very long. Listen, I can talk to you guys for hours. There's so many questions I want to ask you guys. Trust me. But I do know we're on a time crunch. We got a show. We have a match coming up. Before we talk about that, though, I always ask this question. Is there a match that stands out in your career that you had that you would consider the best match of your career?
Oh, man. Oh, mine's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's Star Kerry 86. Robert and I against Ole and Arn Anderson in a cage, Greensboro, North Carolina.
That's right.
I think maybe, and don't get me wrong, buddy, I had some of the greatest matches there could ever be, because I had some of the greatest people to step in the ring with, and that's why. But I think that in Robert and I's career, that was one of the best matches that we ever had. Star Kerry 86 in the cage, and don't get me wrong, we broke records and feuds. We got the longest feud, and it would go down in the history books with the Midnight Express. But that one match, just what led up to it, the angles, Dusty Rhodes did a hell of a job building this match up to what it was, and it was great.
Man, that's awesome. You know, it's cool hearing those stories. You know? It's tough. You know, something that really stands out to me was in Chalmette, Louisiana. It was hard times for the National Wrestling Alliance. I wrestled the notorious 187 Homicide, one bad SOB, and I locked horns with him.
He a little Rican.
Little Rican, Homicide, little Rican. He'll slap, he'll whoop your ass. He'll make sure to know that. He'll whoop your ass.
You know it.
And he'll let you know it too. But that stands out to me. I beat Homicide that night, became the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, the second one in the Lighting One era under Billy Corgan's ownership. So that night was super cool, super surreal. I got to wrestle a guy that I watched going up and down the road in the back seat on Ring of Honor DVDs and TNA, and then step in the ring with him. I just locked horns with him recently in the Hammerstein Ballroom at GCW. He likes Terry Funk a lot. I like Terry Funk, so I had my Terry Funk tights on, and we didn't see each other until we stepped into the ring really before I got changed. Yeah. And he was telling me, you know, Homicide, you know, Kerry, man, that was some bad motherfucking shit. Oh, you have to wait for this, you have to wait, but however it went, it was fantastic, and it really stood out to me a lot. I love Homicide, so really dear friend of mine, and that's the match that stands out between us right now.
Again, I never thought we'd have anybody on this podcast talking about stories like this. This is insane. But, okay, so the NWA. Tell us about the NWA. I think there are a lot of people who are watching us now know what the NWA is like now. I watch it personally. I know the cameraman who's holding this watches it. Explain the NWA to people. For those of you who aren't watching it, sell it to them.
Well, you know, NWA's been around. It's the longest wrestling company of all time, professional wrestling company. It's been, you know, from the livelihood of my father, paving the way for us guys today, and, you know, along with that crew with Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and Highway Race and the Rock and Roll and Midnights, and I can go on and name many more.
You got to understand, you see the Rock and Roll Express is 47-time World Tag Team Champion. No, 9 times. But I love Dusty.
It's fantastic. I was talking about NWA real quickly too. You know, it's really cool to see what has happened with the kind of respark back. It's been going on in the independents for years and years, since the early 2000s, with the likelihood of AJ Styles and R-Truth, Ron Killings at the time,
Yeah.
winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but now it's...
And what's really cool too is I was telling you earlier, Robert and I, rock stars, but it's really cool when your boss man is a real rock star.
Real rock star.
Yeah, Billy Corgan.
That's true. That's a good point.
So-
There's stories he can tell.
He's what everybody wants to be.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right. You know, it's really cool. Really cool. He's given us a lot of creative freedom.
Yeah.
He gives me, I have a good time working for him, and it's been good. I've had a really, I've been there for, let's say, 5 years now, almost under contract with those. So I've had a really good story there, and I hope to continue it down the road. But if not, then it's a hell of a chapter to say the least, and I'm happy to be there. But you know, it's on X. We're NWA right now on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. It comes on at 6:05 p.m. every Tuesday on the NWA page. You get a chance, check me out. Part of the Southern Six, myself, Kerry Morton, and Ricky Morton.
Well, but I want to say another thing. If you are interested in becoming a professional wrestler and you're serious about it, you can go on my social media page. SOM. SOM is School of Morton. SOM and the time 5:05. SOM 5:05. I have a wrestling school. Now we come on live every Sunday from the students at my school of wrestling.
Yeah.
Check it out if you get a chance to. If you haven't watched it, watch it. I will be there personally next Sunday. They're training and being with the students and probably be on the show. So, but if you're interested, I'm serious, if you're really interested in becoming a professional wrestler, my school's in Greenville, Tennessee. Look here, you have to go get it. It don't come to you.
That's right. I think it's a hell of a way to wrap up this podcast, to say the least. Is if you want this professional wrestling business, you gotta go get it. Because I'm preached every day. And thank you for having us on the Battle on
Yeah,
the
man,
Border
thank you.
podcast.
Thank you again. I appreciate it, guys. Make sure to like, comment, you guys. I can't. Thank you again. Anytime you guys want to come on, I would be more than happy to.
Oh man,
Appreciate it.
cool. Thank you.